But yeah, like Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a manual Dodge Challenger RT. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Bountiful, Utah for giving me some time with this Challenger. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you guys can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions whatsoever, just ask for Chris. He'll be more than happy to help you out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through a 6-speed manual transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 375 horsepower and then 410 pound-feet of torque. Before we dive further into the video, I do want to mention that if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend that you subscribe because I post content every single day on a large variety of different cars. Now, for the 2023 model year, there's actually not a bunch that's changing for the Challenger or the Charger as well. Most of it is just allowing people to order pretty much any color that they want, and there are going to be some slight badge changes on the outside. So like the RT, for example, have a 345 badge on the side, and again, there will just be more options available to pick on the car, so you can kind of like just customize it more to what you want because it's the last year for the Challenger. But the powertrains are going to stay the same, like all the like performance stuff and like the underpinnings and all that stuff is the same. So let's kind of get into those underpinnings in today's video. So you guys can see we've got this cool hood scoop here with the Challenger RT. And then coming down below, you've got these LED daytime running lights, which are really cool. Again, signature of the new Challenger. And then with the projector bulb there off to the side for the headlight. RT logo all blacked out there on the front end. Like I said, there will be custom badging for 2023. And then, yes, we still have the protectors here. It's this thing that dealerships do just in case, right? Fog lights there at the bottom. And just imagine this in whatever color you want. Plum crazy purple, go mango orange, like whatever color you want, you can get. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 275, 40, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And I'm a big fan of this style of wheel that you can get on the Challenger. Just love the spoke design and how it's all blacked out. And then yes, we do have Brembo brakes here with the RT, which helps out quite a bit when you've got almost 400 horsepower and a pretty heavy vehicle to stop. Now, other than that, everything's been blacked out on this particular car. So you guys can see all the elements, the spoiler there on the back, everything all blacked out. It looks cool. So here's our key fob, pretty simplistic. And again, this is another thing that's not going to change for 2023, but we have our unlock function, lock function, and then the opening here for the trunk. And this is one of the big benefits of the Challenger, is the fact that even though the opening's not massive, it's big for a muscle car, but the trunk is definitely massive for a muscle car. Like tons of storage space here in the rear. And moving from that plop to the rest of the rear, again, everything's all blacked on this car, which I think looks so cool. This is like the Batmobile Challenger. We've got the Challenger signature LED lights, and again, blacked out Dodge logo. Parking sensors here at the bottom, and then you guys can see with the exhaust tips there, or the covers for the tips at least. But there's the rear. So here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see that they've definitely improved things quite a bit with the Challenger from an interior perspective, because now you've got like nice stitching there at the top and then down below with the leather trim and then more of the really nice stitching. Windows are automatic. They've got blind spot monitoring. We've got our memory seat controls right here. And then the thing that's nice about the Challenger, which actually you have to loop the seatbelt through, show you guys real time, is you can fit adults back here. I think I made it. There we go. Like, it's not the most comfortable place on the planet, but like I actually fit back here. And there's some nice padding here for the armrest. We got some vents in the back. And look how nice these seats look. Like they're just cool. You won't look graceful getting out though, I will say that. Cup holder armrest as well. And well, now I gotta squeeze to the front. Now popping to the front part of the cabin, you can see this one has the leather Alcantara seats, which I am a huge fan of because I think they look cool. And they also have an air-conditioned seat function, which is also cool. Yeah, coming out with the dad jokes today. Power adjustment there on the side, and then that side is manual. 3-pedal layout. Look how beautiful those pedals are. And then you got normal stuff like the light control right here, the opening for the trunk. Steering wheel, which is power adjustable. Let's pop in. So here's our steering wheel for this Challenger. You guys can see really nice leather trim here at the top and at the bottom, and then it's perforated here on the sides so you can get a slightly better grip. We do have radio controls there on the back, controls to the center stack. We've got our voice command, phone controls, cruise control as well. Turn signal, windshield wiper stock. There's the steering wheel. So here's our center gauge cluster. You guys can see we've got the speed on the one side, and then we've got the RPMs on the other side. And RPMs are very important because, again, it's a manual and you don't want to redline it. But anyways, you can see basic bits of vehicle information. Then you got like timers like our 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 timer. Pretty cool stuff right there. And that's the center. So here's the center infotainment screen. First off, we've got the backup camera pulled up so you guys can see we've got trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And I guess the camera doesn't want to focus on that. There you go. Good job, camera. Sometimes you can work, sometimes you can't, I suppose. But anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment screen, you guys can see we've got dual zone climate, automatic climate controls as well, which is awesome, and we have heated and ventilated seats, which is also another nice luxury feature. Response time of the screen is actually really solid. It's easy to use. Got the performance pages, which basically just shows you different bits of info on the car, like real-time horsepower and torque. While that's loading up, look at the dash. We've got some nice padding and stitching. And then notice this is Challenger. And like I said, a lot of these interior badges will be changed. They're doing the normal, Chrysler thing where they just put new badges on it and then call it a new model year. But anyways, notice that if we go to like the engine page right now, if I rev it a little bit, shows you horsepower and torque. It's pretty cool stuff, but there's the center. Now down below, you can see we've got analog controls for like the radio, the climate controls. We do have sport mode, which shows a little racing flag right there when you pop it in. And then we have the super track pack button, which if we press, it'll pop over here. So we've got line lock with this, launch control as well, which, I mean, it's a manual, so it's still cool to have launch control because it at least holds the RPMs, but it's also kind of like, it's a manual. You can also change the drive mode setup with the sport mode and the default mode with those. And then here is our shifter for the manual transmission. Such an iconic shifter. Obviously you got the ball there on the top, which is kind of like a muscle car thing to do. And it's really not, like, you have to like push it into the gates. It's really notchy, and it's got like some weight to it, which just fits the character of the Challenger perfectly. Got a couple cup holders here, and then center console with the USBs, 12 volt, all that. And then look at the stitching that goes across in the padding. Pretty normal glove box. It's got a couple tiers on it. And then we do have a sunroof here at the top. Controls to the sunroof just right there, which now you can see them. There you go. So here's our window sticker for this Challenger. This is an RT Plus, again with the 6-speed manual. And you can see all the packages that this has. So first one, the Plus package, $3,095, which I think is worth it with all the stuff that you get. If you're already going to be spending, almost $40,000, might as well spend a little bit more and just get a few more goodies with the interior. But the only thing that I probably wouldn't put in this is maybe the sunroof, because I just never use sunroofs, and so that'd save me $1,200. Total MSRP, $53,715. Notice we got a 5-year, 60,000 mile on the powertrain, and then a 3-year, 36,000 mile on the basic. Let's drive it, talk about Challengers, and sum things up. Gotta hold it down. Always forget that. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And clutch in, first gear. Brake out, let's set off. Oh, setting off here in this Challenger RT. Love the manual. Like, this really does just like make the muscle car experience. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore the 8-speed automatic transmission that's in the Challenger and the Charger. It's such a good transmission because it's really quick to shift. It's smooth. When you if you're just like cruising, it's smooth. But like, there's just something about just rolling the gears yourself in a muscle car that just feels so right. Even though this isn't nearly as quick, it's just an experience. Well, now that traffic's finally decided to move, I'm just kidding, the light. I'm impatient sometimes while doing these reviews, okay guys? You gotta bear with me. So torquey. It's such a fun experience. Now, one thing I will say is I've driven quite a few manual cars this year, and I've owned a few manual cars. The one thing that's super unique about that, well, not super unique about the Challenger, but is something with the Challenger manual, is you definitely do have to like you know, pull your foot all the way off. Like, you can't flat foot shift with this. There are some manuals that'll let you do that, but not this. This is not a good comparison, but like the new Honda Civic Si, I had that for a week, was driving that around. That's a similar setup where you have to pull your foot off every single time. Okay, so continuing along, I kind of got lost. I don't film up in Bountiful very often, so I'm still trying to figure out a driving route. It's always a fun experience trying to figure out where I'm going to drive with these reviews. But yeah, I love the overall actuation on this, the whole setup with the shifter and everything. It feels so cool. It's a pretty cool looking Defender, by the way. But yeah, like it's just so, like, the torque is so good in this. It's so addicting. I love it. And then you can pretty easily rev match downshift in this. Like, so good. Oh man, we are never gonna get an experience like this ever again. Now, in terms of like the amount of power this has, I feel like this is solid. However, in terms of the power with the RT, I feel like it's a solid amount. That being said, I do think that the Scat Pack is a sweet spot because, first off, this is a really reliable powertrain. The 6.4 Hemi and the Scat Pack's also extremely reliable as well. That being said, though, it just like just under 500 horsepower for a muscle car is like perfect, because that's enough that you're just kind of roasting the tires, but you can still have fun legally. Like this, you can for sure have fun legally. The Hellcat, on the other hand, well, they don't offer it with the manual transmission anymore, sadly, but you can't really have fun in that car without breaking the law, because it's just so ridiculously fast. And I mean, you punch it and it goes all over the place, and then by the time that you look down the speedometer, you're going way over the speed limit, whereas this and the Scat Pack are definitely a lot more controllable. So if you're thinking about ordering a last year Challenger, I think what I would do is wide body, Scat Pack, shaker, manual transmission, because it would look so cool, and it has the speed, and it's sounds amazing. Like, I think that's the sweet spot. Like, that's the car that I would order if I was going to get a last year Challenger. But this RT is definitely, you know, a lot more affordable, so it's got that going for it. And it's still, gosh, people just pull out here in Bountiful. Jeez, it's still fun. Can't really accelerate here in Bountiful, sadly. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get something up with our video on this Challenger RT. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Bountiful, Utah for giving me some time with this Challenger. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Ask for Chris. I'll see ya.